Hello, folks. This week we are taking a look at the song What a Wonderful World. We're going to start off by just looking at the song. I'm going to play through it, and then we're just going to quickly look over the chords and the basic structure. And if that's all you want to deal with, we'll leave it at that. But if you stick around afterwards and want to learn some more advanced stuff, we're going to be talking about compound time, 12/8 in particular, and we're also going to be talking about a technique for ukulele called the triple strum. So, with that being said, let's dive in to the song "What a Wonderful World." All right, so we've got a lot of chords in this song, 13 different chords. So a lot of them are going to be pretty familiar to you, most likely, and then we've got a couple oddballs in there to mix it up. So the song is in the key of C. We've got our C chord. We've got an E minor, F, D minor, E7, A minor, we've got an A flat, G7, C7, G diminished, B flat, A7, and a G7 flat 9. And that's it. All right, so the chords that you probably haven't seen before are going to be the G diminished chord, the G7 flat 9, and the A flat chord. So let's take a look at those. The easiest of the three is the G diminished chord. So a G diminished is open G, first fret of the C, open E, first fret of the A. So it's fairly simple. I only need 2 fingers to achieve this chord. Again, I just need to play the first fret of the C and the first fret of the A, and my G and E strings are open. Lovely. The G7 flat 9. It's an interesting one. When you're playing this shape with all of your fingers down, you're going to want your index finger on the G. In this case, I've got my index finger on the first fret of the G, my middle finger on the first fret of the E, then I want my ring finger on the second fret of the C, and my pinky on the second fret of the A. Now again, I'm holding down all 4 of my strings. I'm fretting all 4 of my strings, so that means this is a movable chord. So if at any point this chord is giving you trouble and you're like, oh, why do I have to learn this chord? Remember, you're not just learning one chord. You are learning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly more if you have a ukulele with bigger frets, or if you have really tiny fingers and you can get way up there. You are learning a lot of different chords out of this one shape. Finally, we have the A flat chord. A flat chord, this one is another bar chord. So much like the B flat that we've looked at in previous videos, we are barring multiple strings with a single finger. So in this case, I am barring my index finger on the 3rd fret of all of my strings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my middle and ring fingers. I'm going to add my ring finger to the 5th fret of the G string, and my middle finger to the 4th fret of the E string. So again, that's index finger across the 3rd fret of all of your strings, ring finger on the 5th fret of the G, and middle finger on the 4th fret of the E. Now the cool thing is this is a shape that we've actually seen before. Even if you've never played this particular bar chord shape before, you have probably played an F chord before. See down here? Now we usually play it with these fingers like this. But if I played it with these fingers, it's that same shape that I can move up here, and voila, that same F chord shape becomes an A flat if I apply it over here. And of course I have to rearrange my fingers because my pointer finger now has to compensate for those strings that would have been open in this F chord shape. And once again, just like that G7 flat 9, this is a movable chord, meaning you are not just learning an A flat chord here, you are also learning a different way to play G. You're learning an F sharp chord. You're learning a new way to play A. Another way to play B flat. You've got a B chord up here. Just moving that one shape all around is giving you a lot of bang for your buck. All right, now as I mentioned before, the song is in 12/8 time, but we're gonna feel it in 4. So until we get to that more advanced part of the lesson, we're just gonna focus on counting this in 4, and it's gonna be a slow 4. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. So the song moves pretty slowly, but with the number of chords that we have in this song, it can sneak up on you pretty fast. Stuff like that A flat can sneak up on you. At the end, that G7 flat 9. So with this kind of simple version of the song, I'm just doing four strums for each measure, just keeping it nice and steady, nice and even. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those were all downstrokes. I was doing most of them with my index finger. Might have been changing it up inadvertently, throwing my thumb in or something like that. If you wanted to kind of keep this 4/4 version of the tune, Israel Brother Is does a version of this song. He does it in combination with Over the Rainbow. There's that medley version. But he also does this song on its own, and it's got a more of a Hawaiian sort of feel, that sort of Hawaiian strum. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a there, the big thing that I was doing is I was speeding it up, and I was doing a lot more down-up strokes. So I was getting like a more eighth note rhythm going on in there. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and patterns like that. That's a really nice little pattern that you can throw in to kind of spice it up and speed it up. But let's take a look at 12/8 time as the song is written. So 12/8 time is a time signature. It's a compound time signature, meaning that we can count it in more than one way. We can be counting it in fours like we just did, but we can also break those four counts that we had, those 4 beats that we were counting, into groups of 3, 4 groups of 3 notes. So we're kind of thinking like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So even though the pulse that we're feeling in this song is that 4-beat pulse, we've also got this triplet feel that kind of lives underneath the song, kind of like this flowing river underneath us, right? So we can use that to our advantage when we're playing these chords. Instead of just strumming the 3, 4, we could strum those triplets. Now, that pattern, not the strumming pattern, because that's a stringed instrument thing, but you'll hear that rhythmic motif happening in some of the recordings, the Louis Armstrong recordings. You'll hear that on keyboard. So the keyboard will be playing those chords. Doing that kind of feel, just kind of like lightly keeping that time. In 4/4, we would typically break up our beats into groups of 2, right? The eighth notes, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But in compound time, we're breaking it into groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So it's like a different spin, and it gives us a more swingy feel. It gives us a kind of a more complex sound we can get out of it. Now, when you're applying this, you can like stay on that for the entire song, or you can throw it in subtly here and there. Something like, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. You know, and just kind of like sprinkle it in here and there, maybe the less busy points, maybe when there's less singing happening, you can throw in more of those little three strum groupings. Now, the best way to do that on the ukulele is to implement the triple strum. So what is the triple strum? Well, the triple strum, if you couldn't kind of tell by what my hand was doing before when I was playing that, is I am doing three quick moves with my hand. So it's just between my index finger and thumb. That's all I need for the triple strum. Just these 2 fingers. So what's going to happen is I'm going to do 2 downstrokes and an upstroke. So I'm going to be doing a downstroke with my index finger, followed by a downstroke with my thumb, and I finish it off with an upstroke of my index finger. So down, down, up. Down, down, up. Triplet. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm exaggerating the motion of my hand a little bit, just to kind of give you an idea of how my wrist is moving. But I want to keep these moves pretty subtle. I want to not have to move my hand too much at all in order to produce this. The whole idea of doing this is rather than doing this kind of thing. If I was playing with a pick, I might be doing this sort of motion when I play guitar. But the nice thing about playing with your fingers, especially strumming with your fingers, is it's like you've got 5 picks on your hand. And this motion is a lot less work than this. So again, the idea behind that triple strum is downstroke with your index finger, down with your thumb, and then back up to your starting point with your index finger. So down, down, up, index, thumb, index. And you want to keep those strums nice and even. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you want to practice that very, very slowly at first. Kind of down, down, up. And don't be afraid to exaggerate those movements. You can hone it down as you're getting closer to performance or applying this technique. But down, down, up, down, down, up, index, thumb, index, index, thumb, index. And with that, I'm going to play through What a Wonderful World one more time. I'll probably throw in maybe some of those triplet strums and give you an opportunity to kind of play along and maybe try out some different things, or just watch and see, start gathering some ideas for how you might like to play this tune. 1, 2, 3. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I hope you enjoy What a Wonderful World. It's a classic tune, and there's a lot that we can do with it. There are a lot of different versions out there, so explore a little bit and put your own spin on the tune. I hope you got a little bit out of learning about compound time and the triple strum. As always, if you have any questions, email me at tinyvillagemusic@gmail.com. If you've got suggestions for a lesson one of these weeks, feel free to reach out and let me know. So other than that, take care, have fun, keep strumming, and I will talk to you all next week.